standing. So let's get into some beautiful mindful movement while we're sitting here waiting for everyone to log in. Feel free to drop a comment, say hello. Thanks, Cassie, for saying what up. Just getting into whatever kind of mindful movement right now, maybe circling the wrists, preparing them for some planks and some downward dogs, maybe extending the legs long, moving the ankles, uncrossing the legs, extending them long, recrossing, just doing some mindful stuff, maybe taking ear to shoulder, chin down through center, and then ear over to the other shoulder, just kind of saying good morning to this body, saying good morning to the warrior within. My neck is definitely incredibly tight today. I can feel that for sure. We'll definitely do a lot of hip work because it is the full moon. Today is actually the full moon, I believe. I don't remember the time at which it'll be its fullest. But right now we're getting into Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. Pluto went into retrograde at the end of April. So that shadow is ever present, right? So a couple more moments of just coming into breath and body. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, doing whatever kind of motions right now, maybe doing some shoulder rolls backwards and forwards, just kind of figuring out what is tight this morning and what isn't. Feeling something different maybe from this mindful, slow, gentle movement before we get into working different muscle groups. Okay, let me see here. Awesome, okay. And as you're doing this mindful movement here to come into your body, please make sure you're breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. All right. Okay, wherever you are, I would like to invite everyone to come into child's pose. Good morning, Haley. How are you? So let's come into child's pose and do some nice passive gravity-induced stretches to get those shoulders nice and warm. So your knees come nice and wide to the outer edges of your mat. And you're going to crawl on down. Good morning, Eleanor. So crawling on down, crawling your fingers toward the front of your mat, maybe readjusting your hips away from your hands as you crawl them forward. Then surrender your forehead to the mat. Coming into this first child's pose, if you need a pillow underneath your forehead to support your neck, that's always an option. You can even bring your hands in underneath your forehead and place them under your forehead if you'd like a little more support. If this is too much on your shoulders to have your arms out in front, you can always bring your arms down along your sides and then surrender the forehead. You can take one cheek to the mat. Yep, you can always bend the elbows. Find a little bit of comfortability in this first gravity-induced stretch. Yep. Continue breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Feel the belly filling with air. Maybe it touches the tops of the thighs. Maybe it doesn't. Begin to fire up that breath. Feel it come up and over the back of the throat. If your arms are down along your sides, I invite you to bring them forward. We're going to get into some thread the needles here. So inhale, raise the right arm up to the ceiling, look up with it, and then thread the right arm underneath the left armpit and bring the right cheek to the mat so you're looking at the left arm, which is extended toward the top of the mat. From here, you can take the left hand and press the right hand into the ground. You can take the top of the left hand and take it to the low back for a twist, which really gets really fires up into the left shoulder as well as the right. So you're passively inducing the stretch by pouring your body weight and using gravity to open up the right shoulder. And then if you're taking the top left hand and putting that to the small of the back to twist, you're opening up through the pec and getting into your left shoulder, into the front of that rotator cuff. And we're breathing here, yeah? Continue to breathe. Release your left hand, bring it toward the top of the mat, and then on an inhale, bring your right arm out to meet the left. Relax the forehead back down. for a full exhale. And then on the inhale, let's come into the left arm. Good morning, Michael. Inhale, lift the left arm up, look up toward the ceiling with it, and then thread the left arm underneath the right armpit, bringing the left cheek to the mat. If you'd like more in just the right arm where it is, you can come up to the fingertips. Fires it up. I personally love taking the twist here, so taking the top of the right hand and putting it to the small of the back, which opens up the right shoulder. Breathe really deeply. In this, thread the needle on the left, pouring the weight into the left shoulder, which is against the mat, and opening with the right. You can always push the right hand into the left as well to get more of a pull. One more deep inhale and a long exhale out. On your next inhale, bring both arms back toward the front of the mat and pull yourself back through center and release that forehead back down again. On an inhale, begin to pull yourself up to hands and knees. Bring your knees underneath your hip points. Sit back so that you're kneeling. You can go ahead and come to face sideways on your mat. We're going to come into a little bit of gate pose to get into the side body and a little bit more flowy kind of movement, linking the breath to movement. So you can come up to high knees here instead of sitting on your ankles with your hips back. You're going to take your knees out a little bit wider because eventually we're actually going to take this left leg and extend it all the way out to the side. Seal the outer edge to the mat. So you're really pouring weight into this outer edge of the pinky toe side. If you need to readjust and make your stance a little bit wider, you can. It's almost like a half plank kind of stance, or a side plank kind of stance. Sorry, not a half plank, side plank. So this is gate pose, okay? So let's inhale, lift those arms up super wide. Release the left fingertips down to the left leg and then lean over to the left on an exhale. Breathe here for one full inhale and a full exhale. Feeling the ribs expand. Inhale, back up through center. Bring the left arm back up. And then exhale, over, down. You're going to really have to reach here. If you can't reach the ground, that's okay. Engage the abs. Pour the weight into the outer left edge of the foot. Inhale, back up through center, both arms up, and then exhale, back over. One full inhale and a long exhale. Go ahead and release the right arm down, swing it on through. Bring the left knee back underneath. Now we're going to take this on the other side, yeah? So go ahead and release, extend the right leg nice and long. Seal the outer pinky toe edge to the mat. If you'd like to tuck the toes of the left foot, you can, but for me, that's too much on my knee personally, so I like to push the top of the foot, the left foot, into it's not even on the mat, it's actually on the floor, okay? So inhale, both arms up to frame the head, and then release the right hand gently to touch the side of the right leg. And you exhale over to the right, really breathing deeply. Wow, this is so much different than my left side. Inhale, back up, both arms up. Then exhale, maybe your fingertips come down. Inhale, back up, both arms up, and then exhale, back over to the right. Really pouring weight into that outer pinky toe edge of the right leg. Inhale to come back up, release the arms down. You can hold your hips. Bring your right leg back underneath your hip points. Beautiful. Go ahead and turn toward the front of your mat. You're still kneeling here. And from here, we'll just do some really beautiful, nice heart-opening arm movements. So with your right arm, you're just going to bring it in a nice big circle, just going backwards. If you'd like to tuck your back toes right now to get a little bit more stability here, you absolutely can. If you need to fold your mat in so you have more squish under your knees, that's always an option too. And then go ahead and bring this back forward. And come to stillness. Left arm, inhale, up and back. Big circular movements, getting into that shoulder joint. And pausing with it forward, and then going ahead and reversing this. And then coming back to stillness. Now with both arms, really big motions. Maybe pausing with a little bit of a back bend with this beautiful eagle wingspan kind of. Arms nice and wide, and then coming back. You can keep doing circular motions if that's what's working for you. You can pause and feel the stretch in your chest. Continue to breathe. Engage the core to protect the low back so it's not a super back bend unless you're hypermobile in your back, right? Beautiful. Go ahead and come back to stillness. Maybe shimmy, untuck those toes, and then go ahead and lower back down, lowering the hips over the ankles. Bring the hands out to the top of the mat. Tuck the toes here. Lift the hips. You're coming into a short stance of down dog, right? And then from here, you're going to walk your feet back to the back of your mat. And just kind of hang out in this down dog for a minute. If you need to pedal out your feet here, go for it. Nod the head, yes. Shake it, no. If you want to inhale, look between the hands, glide forward to upper push-up position. Figure out if this is a proper distance for your down dog. Just measuring that, flowing through, building some heat. I'm definitely super warm. Wearing a long sleeve shirt was an interesting choice. And drinking coffee and practicing in the sunlight. Sick. All right, so we're all in this down dog together, yes? On an inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, step, walk, or jump, feet to hands. Inhale up for a halfway lift. And then exhale to release. Inhale, come all the way up. Sweep the arms up. Grab the left wrist with the right hand. And exhale over to the right. Inhale, back up through center. Switch the grip. Exhale to the left. By the way, if my pacing is ever too quickly, please remember that all you need to do is link your breath to movement, and you can go as slow as you need to, okay? Really relish each movement. Feel what's going on in your body as you're breathing and linking that breath to movement. You're still going through these side body stretches to your own breath, just back and forth ever so gently, as slow or as quickly as you want. Everyone inhale back up through center. Nice swan dive, taking the arms out nice and wide, and then forward folding over those legs. Inhale up for that halfway lift, and then exhale to release. Plant the hands, step it on back to upper push-up position. Your heels are stacked directly over your toes, shoulders over the arms. On your exhale, bend the elbows in toward the side body and lower down to the mat in one piece. Untuck the toes when you arrive. If you'd like to take your arms, your hands really, off of your mat, you can fingertip them and make little tents with your hands. And then inhale up for a striking cobra or a baby cobra if your hands are still on the mat. Exhale to release. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Really activate those legs and do it a second time. Inhaling up just a couple of inches. It's a very small movement. And then exhale to release. One more time. Maybe you hover the hands. Maybe you take the hands off. Inhale up. Exhale to release. Bring the hands in back under the rib cage if they are not there. Tuck the toes, push up through hands and knees or through plank, and then lift the hips. Extend the legs, coming back into your down dog. On an inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, step, walk, or jump, feet to hands. Inhale up for a halfway lift. Exhale and release. Inhale, come all the way up. Sweep the arms up, sit the hips right back to chair. Building a little bit more heat here before we get more flowy. Breathing super deep, feeling the breath come up over the back of the throat, engage through the core to protect the low back. Hands can be out in front of you for a counterbalance. They can be up framing your head. If they are, relax the shoulders away from the ears. You could even take a bind behind you. Hands go on your hips. Hands can be at heart center. You have so many options here. Maybe sit a little bit lower into that invisible chair. One more deep inhale through the core. Exhale, extend the legs, forward fold, pour it out. Inhale up for a halfway lift. Exhale and release. Plant the hands, step it back to upper push-up position, and we can flow through our vinyasa here, yeah? So, inhale deep through the core, and then exhale, lower down to the mat in one piece, untuck the toes. Inhale up for a little baby cobra. Exhale to release. Tuck the toes. Push up through hands and knees, or through plank, and then send the hips back for down dog. We'll all meet back in that down dog. Awesome. Okay, let's get into some hip work here. So from this down dog, inhale, lift the left leg up behind you. Bend at the knee, open the hips, stacking the hips. Look in between your hands on an inhale. Exhale, straighten the leg and sweep it right on through, bringing the foot right up in between the hands, yeah? So you're in this nice low lunge base. That heel is stacked directly over the toes. When you have that base nice and set up and stable, then you can inhale to rise up for crescent. Pull that left front hip back. Find length and tallness in the back, extended right leg. So maybe even bring your hand to palpate and touch that right thigh that's getting that stretch. Make sure it's nice and lifted, that you're not like sinking into it. Swivel the back heel down, open up to warrior two. Here's our first warrior in this warrior flow, yeah? Flip the front palm. Inhale, bring it back. Beautiful. Inhale, come back up, bring the elbow right down to the knee for side angle. Right arm comes up, extends toward the ceiling. Once again, just like we did in our child's pose, you can take the top right hand, bring it to the small of the back if you'd like to, and that really stacks the shoulders. You can look up toward the ceiling if that's comfortable for your neck. What's showing up for you right now? Is your thigh burning? Is your side body burning? Are you clenching your toes? Maybe find some lightness in those toes. If you need more of an intensification, you can always close your eyes too. One more deep inhale and a full exhale out. Look down at your front left leg. On an inhale, use the core to rise back up for warrior two. Inhale, flip the front palm, bring it back. Cartwheel the hands down to frame the front foot. Come up to the toes of the back foot, coming back into that low lunge position. And then on an inhale, hike the right foot about halfway up the mat, coming into pyramid here. If you'd like this to be more of a balanced pose, you can bring both of your hands to the front left leg. Track the left hip back, squaring your hips to the front of the mat. Really breathe into the sensations that show up here for you. For me right now, it's definitely my left front leg. Make sure you have nice little micro bends in those knees. Don't lock them out. You don't want to hyperextend your knees, right? Release those fingertips to the ground. Begin to pour the weight into your left standing leg. So maybe you bend the left knee a little bit to pour the weight into that left standing leg. Come up to the toes of the back right foot and then slowly on an inhale, lift up and off. Coming into a standing split. Beautiful. Once again, if you want this more of a balanced pose, you can bring your hands in toward your left ankle. Really make sure that back right ankle is flexed. One more deep inhale and then slowly release it down to meet the left. Now you're back in that forward fold at the top of your mat, yeah? Inhale up for that halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, come all the way up. Sweep the arms up. More side bodies. Grab the left wrist with the right hand and exhale over to the right. Inhale up through center, switch the grip. Exhale to the left. Inhale back up, swan dive, nice wide arms, forward fold over those legs. Inhale up for that halfway lift. Exhale, release. Plant the hands, step it back to upper push-up position. Rinse this off with a vinyasa, or just go right back to down dog. So you can lower down, or just go right back to down dog. We're all going to meet there anyways, yeah? Good morning, Steph. Good morning, Meg. Good morning, Nadia. What up, ladies? All right. So, we're all meeting back in that down dog. Let's do this on the right now. All righty. Cool beans. So, on an inhale, raise the right leg to hip height. Focus on that internal rotation. Point the toes and the knee toward the ground. Then bend at the knee. Open the hips. Stack the hips. Look in between the hands on an inhale. On an exhale, straighten the leg and sweep it right on through. One big motion, right? On that exhale. So now you're coming into this low lunge on the right. Once you have this base, you see how my heel is directly stacked over the toes? That's what we want. We don't want that heel jutting back. We really want to make sure that's stacked. All right, so once you have this base, inhale to rise for crescent. Lower the shoulders away from the ears as soon as you rise all the way up, stacking the shoulders over the hips, right? Track that right front hip back, engage through the core. All right, I'm going to switch this so you guys can. All right, ready? So we're coming into warrior two on this side, so swivel the back heel down, open the arms up. So you're opening the hips. It's almost like you're facing sideways off the mat, but you're looking over that front right arm, right? Maybe stare at the tip of the middle finger, finding a drishti or a warrior's gaze. Get a little bit deeper into that front knee. That's something I always need work on. I always have to remind myself. Flip the front palm. Inhale, bring it back. Exhaling fully, and then you inhale to come back forward, using the core to come forward, bringing the right elbow to the right knee. Left arm comes up. If you want to take that top left hand to the small of your back, you absolutely can. Maybe looking up if that's comfortable for your neck. Breathing deeply. Really sealing that outer edge of the left pinky side of the foot, sealing that outer edge to the mat. One more deep inhale. Exhale, look down at that front right knee. Using the core, release the arms and inhale, rise back up for warrior two. Flip the front palm, inhale, bring it back. Exhaling fully while you're here. And then inhale, use the core to come back forward, cartwheel the hands down to frame the front foot. And now you're coming up to that low lunge with the right leg forward, right? All right, now we're gonna come into pyramid, right? So you're gonna hike on an inhale, hike the left leg halfway up the mat and extend both legs coming into this pyramid pose, yeah? So that's what the legs look like. Bring the hands toward the right ankle if you wanna make this more of a balance pose. And breathe. Micro bends behind both knees. If your back ankle peels up off the mat, that's okay. Just breathing into the sensations that show up for you here on this other side. Is it more intense than the other? Are you judging this side because it's more difficult than the other? Or are you praising it because it's easier? Just knowing, realizing and observing the thoughts that come up as you practice. And if you find that your mind has totally wandered away, bring it back to breath, bring it back to the body right here, right now, in this moment that you're practicing. So we're going to come into the standing split on the right, yeah? So you're going to begin to pour the weight into that front right leg. So maybe bend into the knee a little bit. Come to the toes of the back left leg. Inhale, lift it up off. Maybe straightening that right leg a little bit more. Flex through that back left ankle. Fingertips are to the mat or they're to the ankle. So you're in this standing split. One more deep inhale, strong through that right leg, and then exhale. Lower the left leg down to meet the right. Back in that forward fold. Inhale up for a halfway lift. Exhale, release. Heel toe the feet out past hip distance. Grab opposite elbows and sway in ragdoll. You can bend as deeply into the knees as you want as you sway from side to side. Or maybe it's just little micro movements. Beautiful. Go ahead and release those hands to the mat. Fingertips to the mat. Heel toe, walk your feet back in to your hip points. Inhale out for a halfway lift. And exhale, release. Plant the hands, step it back to upper push-up position. Flow through vinyasa. Rinse this off or just go right back to down dog. I'm going to retie my hair here. I will check my phone battery next. In your down dog, when you all arrive there, maybe pedaling out the feet a little bit more. Feeling the difference in your legs now that we've gone through some more intensive flow to get the blood flowing through those legs, yeah? All right. Cool. Okay, so in this down dog here, lower the knees to a hover and the shins to a hover on the mat, and then exhale, extend and lift. I have to sneeze, hold on. Oh gosh. Ugh, okay, maybe not. Ugh. Don't you hate that feeling? On an inhale, raise the right leg to hip height, bend at the knee, open the hips, stack the hips, look in between your hands, and on your exhale, straighten and swing through. Yeah, it's in that, all that motion in that one exhale. Okay, so you're up in this nice base, really stacking that heel over the toes. And then when you're ready, inhale to rise. All right, so from this crescent, swivel the back heel down. Open on up to warrior two. Flip the front palm. Inhale, bring it back. Straighten the front leg. And then inhale, come back using your core to bring your shoulders back over your hips. And then push your left hip out. Reach, 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 reach with your right. And then bend at the right hip, coming into triangle here. Make sure there's a nice micro bend in that front right knee. You're not locking it out. All right, so release the left hand to the inside of the right leg. You may have to bend into that right knee. It can't exactly be straight anymore unless you have super hypermobile legs. What we're going to do now is you're going to turn the right toes to face the side of the mat. So now both your left toes and your right toes are facing the side of your mat. Then you're going to walk your hands in toward the center. We're coming into a nice wide-legged forward fold here, okay? Then go ahead and bend down to your degree. If you have a prop or a block or even a book, something to support your forehead, that's always a nice way to kind of release any neck tension from reaching for the ground. Your arms can come forward. They can crawl back through the legs. Or you can take one hand to each ankle, whatever's clever right now. Beautiful. Okay, let's come into some skater's lunges here. So, you're going to heel toe your right leg in a couple, and then you're going to begin to bend very deeply, lowering the hips down toward the right side. You can come up to the toes of, or to the heel of the left foot, so your toes are pointing up. All right. If you need to widen your stance, you absolutely can. Especially if you're up on your heel, maybe widening the stance might help, but if not, that's okay, because now we're just going to crawl back and forth using our hands. So you're going to walk over to the left side, bend into the left leg, and then straighten the right, coming up to the toes, or the heel of the right foot. The toes are facing up, right? So to your own breath, you inhale, come up, and then exhale, get low into that hip. And then inhale, coming back up, and then exhale over to the other side. So to your own breath, flowing through this. And if you need those hands to walk yourself from side to side, that's excellent. If you want to hover them, you can do this nice little arm variation of bringing them across the body and then back out to a wingspan as you go from side to side. Okay? Maybe you stay up on the bent toes. Maybe you're able to seal the entire one to the mat. Ooh. This is a little bit of split practice too. This is a wonderful flow movement to get into your hips, since we are about to have this full moon, right? You want to be in sync with all that watery energy within us, that sacral energy that we're getting into in the hips. All right, come back to stillness, whichever side you're on. Fingertips come to the mat. You're going to extend both legs, coming back up into this wide-legged forward fold, right? Just coming back to stillness in the center here. Turn your toes out toward the outer corners of your mat, and then begin to bend very deeply into the knees, and then inhale, rise up, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Yes, we're coming into goddess. All right. Your arms can be up in cactus. They can be at your hips. All right, ready, together. On an inhale, rise and straighten everything up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up. Exhale, lower down, and then hinge at the hips, reach for the ground, and then go ahead and turn the toes so that they're both pointing parallel off the side of the mat because they were pointing out to the corners. Now we want them pointing toward the side of the mat, coming back into this wide-legged forward fold, yeah? Awesome. Okay, let's walk our hands over to the left foot. Turn the left toes to face the front of the mat. So now you're back in. You can go to the toes of the back right leg as well. So you're back in this low lunge position. Yep, beautiful. Facing the other way, right? All right, once you have that base, inhale to rise. Settle into this warrior on the, or excuse me, this is a crescent. We're getting to warrior. Wonderful. So you're in this crescent. And then you can swivel the back heel down, then open to your warrior two. Flip the front palm, inhale, bring it back. Straighten the front left leg. Inhale, come back forward with both arms. Send the right hip back, reach, 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 reach. Hinge at the left hip. Bring the right arm up. Nice micro bend in that front left leg. One more deep inhale and a full exhale. Really tuck the left hip under that right thigh, tucking underneath. All right, look down at your front left leg. Begin to rebend into that front knee. Bring the right hand down to the inside of the left foot. Come up to the toes of the back right foot. All right, bring the left foot back to meet the right. Bring the knees down to the mat. Take them nice and wide, big toes to touch. Send the hips back over the ankles and go ahead and take a moment of rest in child's pose. I am certainly sweating. I hope you guys are too. Awesome. Let's see how we're doing on time and battery here. Excellent. I think we're doing okay. Very cool. So in this child's pose, just taking a moment, if your hands and shoulders would like to be down along your sides instead of up framing your head, it's absolutely fine to do right now. So right now, you guys should be facing the back side of your mat, not where we started, right? Which is totally fine. I'm definitely going to get you guys turned around in just a moment here. Okay, let's come out of this. On an inhale, crawl your hands back in toward your pelvis. Coming up to Seiza, sitting on your knees to bring your legs back in toward that midline. Coming up to sit. Go ahead and bring the tops of your hands, the backs of your hands, to the tops of your thighs. Your palms are facing up. And just breathe here for a moment in this stillness. All right, begin to reach forward. Walk your hands back out to the front top of your mat. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, send them on back. Okay. On an inhale, raise the left leg to hip height, bend at the knee, open the hips, stay flexed through that left foot. On an inhale, look between your hands, one foul swoop motion, yep, extend the leg on the exhale and bring it through in between the hands. Set up the base and then inhale to rise, stacking the shoulders over the hips, swivel the back heel down, open right on up to warrior two, yeah? Really flow in here. Inhale, flip the front palm, bring it back for a full exhale. Straighten that front left leg. Inhale, come back using the core, push the back right hip out, reach, reach, reach. Extend and flex over that left hip, coming down to your triangle on the left again. Bring your right hand down to the inside of the left foot. Come up to the toes of the back foot. Bend into the left front knee. You're coming right back into that low lunge. Lower the back knee down. untuck the toes. Awesome. All right, so inhale to rise here. You're in this modified Anjaneyasana. It's a lunge with the back knee down, yeah? So you can really make sure you have that integrity of the 90-degree angle in the front left leg, so that knee is stacked directly over the ankle. So go ahead and inhale, lift both arms up to frame the head. On your exhale, bring the hands down to frame the front foot and extend the left leg, lowering the hips over the right ankle, coming into this nice runner's lunge, extending that left leg long, flex through that left ankle. Inhale, rebend through that knee, and then rise, stacking shoulders over hips. To your own breath, flow through this motion a couple of times. Exhale, lowering and straightening. Inhale, rebending, rising up, and just flowing through this to your own breath. A couple more times, maybe pausing wherever you feel the most sensation. Maybe you feel it at the top of the inhale in the lunge, the lower modified lunge. Or maybe you feel it the most with the left leg extended. Okay, wherever you are, come back to the bent front left leg. And what we're going to do here is we're going to come into lizard. So you're going to heel toe the left leg, the left foot to the outer edge of the mat. Go ahead and with your right leg, begin to reach back, extending it long. Yep, so you can use your toes to crawl that left leg back. And then if you need a block or a book or a pillow to come down to, that's fine. Come down to your degree. Lowering down onto forearms. Or maybe you just stay up on your hands and maybe that's enough sensation for you. You can tuck the back right toes if you want to, or you can leave them untucked. I kind of like to tuck them because I think it brings more engagement to my right leg personally. And begin to breathe very deeply. This is a very intense hip opener, right? If you need to roll open to the outer edge of the left foot, you can. One more deep inhale and a long exhale out. Begin to walk your hands back in towards your pelvis. Heel toe that left leg back in toward the middle of your mat. Tuck the back right toes. Maybe bring that right leg back. So you're back in this lowered back leg lunge. Inhale, rise up and stack up one more time, maybe a little mini back bend. And then bring the hands down to frame the front foot. Tuck the back toes, come up off of the back leg so you're back in this low lunge position. On an inhale, bring the right leg up to meet the left. And then exhale deeper into that forward fold. Inhale up for a halfway lift. Exhale to release. Inhale, come all the way up. Sweep the arms up. Bring the hands down through heart center and forward fold again. Inhale up through a halfway lift. Exhale and release. Step it back, rinse it off, flow through a vinyasa, or go right back to down dog. We'll all meet in down dog. Okay, so we're back in this down dog here. On an inhale, raise the right leg to hip height, bend at the knee, open and stack the hips. Look forward in between your hands. On the exhale, straighten the legs, sweep it on through. Bring it up in between the hands. Lower the back knee down, untuck the toes, or keep them tucked, whatever you'd like. And then inhale when you have that base. And then once again, flowing through to your own breath. So you inhale up, exhale, release the hands down, extend the right front leg, bring the hips back into that runner's lunge. Inhale, rebend, rise, sweep up. Exhale, plant the fingertips, extend the leg back. One more, and then come back to the stillness of shoulders stacked over hips in this modified crescent. Go ahead and bring both hands, cartwheel them down to the inside of the right foot. Go ahead and heel toe that right foot over to the outer edge of the mat. With your left foot, maybe crawling back with your toes, extending the left leg long to the back edge of your mat, and then lower down to your degree, this lizard on the right. Noticing if this side is more difficult or if it's a little bit easier. Maybe firing up your breath a little bit deeper while you're in this pose. Noticing the sounds around you. My neighbor just started a very loud lawnmower. It's a nice drone in the background, I suppose. Tune into the sound of your breath if there's nothing going on around you. If there are other noises, it's a great practice to remain present in what you're feeling in your body. Let's come out of this. Bring your hands back in towards your pelvis. Heel toe your right foot back in toward the middle of your mat. Tuck the back left toes. Come up off of the back left leg, so you're back in the slow lunge. And then inhale, bring the left leg up to meet the right. You're back in that forward fold to the top of your mat. Inhale up for a halfway lift. Exhale and release. Inhale, come all the way up. Sweep the arms up. If you're facing the back edge of your mat and you want to turn around, go right ahead. Grab some water if you'd like. And we'll start to wind down here, yeah? So inhale, let's lift the arms up. Look up with them, maybe a little mini back bend. Bring the hands down through heart center. Lower down, forward fold. Inhale up for that halfway lift. Exhale, release. Plant the hands, step it on back for one final vinyasa. Maybe throwing in some push-ups if you need to build some extra heat, or holding your plank and building heat that way. And then eventually we'll all meet back in down dog. Let's see how we're doing. Time and battery. Excellent. Okay. Okay, guys. So we're all back in down dog together here, yeah? On an inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, step, walk, or jump, feet to hands. So you're in this forward fold at the top of your mat. Heel toe your feet out to the outer edges of your mat. Turn your toes to the outer corners and outer edges of your mat. So they're not facing parallel, they're facing out, right? Beautiful. Begin to lower down. Lowering the hips all the way down, coming into this nice Malasana squat, yeah? Bring your hands in toward heart center. Push the elbows into the inner knees. At the same time, draw the knees toward the midline. So you're creating this beautiful resistance between the knees and the elbows. And when you do that, you get nice and tall. Stay really tall here. Don't hunch and round. Maintain a nice flat back. Beautiful. Release your fingertips to the ground. Keep the left fingertips planted. And on an inhale, lift up and away, twisting open with the right arm. If this is as far as you get and it just hovers over your right knee, that's absolutely fine. Lower the right fingertips down. Inhale, reach up and away with the left. Beautiful, back down. Both fingertips come back down in front of you. We're just going to flow through this nice motion of inhaling to lift the hips, extend the legs. Exhale, rebend and lower. Hello, Paige. How nice of you to join us. How are you? Inhale, lift up, extend. Exhale, bend and lower to your own breath. A couple more times here. One more time. Inhale, lifting up, maybe pausing. Then exhale, bend and lower all the way down. Bring your fingertips behind you. Go ahead and lower right down onto your sit bones, and then lift your legs up, coming right into boat, yeah? So in this boat pose, your feet are lifted. You can hold underneath your knees. Feet are open in a V shape or a Y. And what that does is that isolates the core muscles. Instead of having your hip flexors do all the work, you want to activate that core, right? Maybe your arms are out parallel. The higher your arms are up to frame the head, the more intense this becomes, yeah? So maybe playing around with the different areas of where your hands can be. Really stay tall. Don't sink back. Stay tall. Really spread through the collarbones, lifting the heart. One more inhale through the core. Exhale, release the feet, plant the hands down behind you, fingertips pointing toward the hips. And then inhale, lift up, relax the neck back for this reverse tabletop. And exhale, lower the hips down. Beautiful. Extend the legs nice and long out in front of you. Feet are nice and flexed. Inhale, both arms up to frame the head. And then exhale, bow forward. Keep nice and flexed through both of those ankles. Breathe very deeply. Release the hands from wherever they are and inhale to rise back up, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Awesome. Go ahead and take your legs nice and wide off of the mat. Stay flexed through both of your feet. That protects the backs of your knees and your calves from muscle spasms. And then go ahead and crawl down to your degree, getting some inner thigh work. Yeah, you might feel your inner thighs light right up. Stay present in these sensations. A lot can come up here. Hi, Nick. Good to see you. Keep breathing. All right, slowly. When you're ready, go ahead and walk your hands back in towards your pelvis. Take your hands to the outside edges of your knees. Help to close your legs like a book. Bring your legs back to extend it in front of you. Give them a little pitter-patter, a little windshield wiper. Awesome. Okay, come back to stillness with that. Inhale, bring your arms up, parallel with your legs. Your feet are still flexed. And then we're going to tuck the tail, hollow out the core, scoop it out, and slowly lower down. With every exhale, you get a little lower. With every inhale, you can hold and engage. Exhale, lower. Inhale, hold, right? Until you're all the way back down on the mat. Keep doing that until you're all the way back down. As slow as you want to engage. Final bit of core work, right? When your shoulders meet the mat, inhale the arms up overhead. Point the toes away from you. Full body stretch, right? And then on an exhale, bring the arms down along your sides. Relax your legs. Or come into some nice spinal twists here, yeah? So inhale, bring the knees into the chest. Roll around. Give them a little bit of a hug. Maybe even bringing the forehead up to meet them. Rolling into a little ball. And then release the forehead and shoulders back down. All right. Bring your arms out in a nice capital T off of the mat with the palms facing down, or cactus arms, whatever is clever for you. Go ahead and cross the right leg over the left. So crossing the right knee over the left. And then we're going to lower this entire formation over to the left. So coming into a nice supine twist. Maybe you hear some snap, crackle, pops. I certainly just did. Yes. Maybe looking out over the right arm if that's comfortable for your neck. Staying nice and flexed through both ankles still. Noticing if you're feeling this in your low back, or if you're feeling it in the outer hip or the thigh. And of course, if crossing one leg over the other is too much, you can always just stack the knees. That's always an option. On an inhale, come back up through center, uncross the right knee from the left, and do it the other way. Cross the left over the right, and then lower that entire formation over to the right. Really trying to find a little bit of relaxed calmness here, letting the shoulders kind of melt into the mat as much as you can. Once again, if crossing one leg over the other is too much, you can release that and stack one knee over the other. So they just kind of look like normal knees twisting over to the side. Breathe deeply. With every exhale, maybe you get a little bit deeper into this twist. Inhale, come back up through center. Uncross the left leg from the right. Extend both legs up to the sky. You can hold behind the knees. You can even kind of lift your hips up and place both of your hands underneath the small of your back for a little bit of a lift. Wherever you are, you can practice pointing your toes, flexing your feet, maybe making some circles with your ankle joints, or just going through those points and flex just to get into the front of the ankle. And then coming back to stillness with your feet flexed as if you could put footprints on the ceiling. And what this is doing is bringing all the energy back to your core that you just expended throughout the past hour of movement with me, yeah? If your hands are underneath the small of your back, go ahead and bring them out from under that. Yes, you can definitely hold behind the knees and roll from side to side, giving your low back and the tops of your hips a nice little massage. You're massaging your sacrum here, rolling around on your sacroiliac joints, just the most weight-bearing joint of the body. All right, bend those knees nice and wide. Reach down and grab the outer edges of your feet, coming into a happy baby. Once again, you can roll from side to side here or just stay still. The more you pull your feet and your knees down toward the ground, the deeper this will feel. You can bring the toes to touch if you want, or bring the feet nice and wide. Get curious and get playful here and just go through some movements. Maybe extending the legs all the way, then rebending, bring the feet to touch. Just getting curious, or just staying still and breathing. If you need anything else to complete your practice at this time, now is the time to do so. Go ahead and release those feet. Bring the knees back in one more time to the chest. Roll around, give them a hug. And then slowly extend both legs down nice and long. Let the feet splay out, open naturally. The arms can come down along the sides. All right, we did it. We've reached the end. All right, so this is Shavasana. It is a time of stillness and quiet just to let your body absorb the practice that you just did. So check in with the jaw. Bring the tip of the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. On your next exhale, relax the space between the eyes. And for this Shavasana, this is a period of silence. I will bring you out of it with my voice when we are done. So enjoy the Shavasana. Don't control your breath. Just let it flow naturally. And enjoy. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Bring some movement back to your limbs. If you'd like to place one hand on your stomach and one hand on your heart to link your breath to your body in these final moments. Together, take a breath in and a long sigh out the mouth. Thank you so very much for joining me this morning. It is such a wonderful way to start my mornings by seeing all of your beautiful names pop up. It means a lot to have all of your support. Thank you very, very much. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. The sun looks very, very bright out there. The light and the truth in me sees that and honors it in each of you. Namaste, everyone.